man, if we're ever in what we consider to be late stage capitalism, it's right now. James, we're to the point where instead of giving people more wages, instead of increasing salaries in order to increase the workforce, right? You got all these jobs. I know you've seen it. Drive around town. There's signs on every drive-through. Thank you for your patience. We don't have enough labor, blah, 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 blah. Instead of paying people more in Wisconsin, they're trying to get a bill passed that would allow 14-year-olds to be able to stay out working till 11 o'clock and I believe 12 o'clock, which is right now against their state legislation. It's against the law for young people to work that late. So their solution, James, instead of offering, because there are people who want to work. Let's be clear. Like in this whole process of the pandemic, there's been all these questions about whether or not people want to work. People have been willing to work in the pandemic. They're just not willing to work in the pandemic for chump change. You're going to have to you got to pay people to come out here in this pandemic and do this quote unquote essential labor, right? On the flip side, instead of meeting people and saying, hey, we'll give you 12, 13, 14, 15, 20, we'll give you something that's a livable wage. They said instead, let's get the kids. Let's get the kids to go out here and work. That's what's being up for consideration in Wisconsin. And at this point, I'm not surprised by any of this.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I remember when I was younger, I couldn't wait till I turned 16 to get my little work permit, go work and make my little own money. But I know that I wasn't going to stay out past 9 o'clock. So mom and dad were cool with it. I mean, brother had a job as well, too. We just tried to make ends meet. But now these days, no, y'all trying to change it to 11 o'clock to get these 14-year-olds out there. And then y'all going to pay them $8 an hour.
That's why. That's exactly why, right? That's exactly why, because they want to be able to pay the lowest wages possible. It's not rocket science, right? This is, a lot of people say, oh, you got to read Karl Marx. You got to read this. You got to read theory. No. It's real simple. Your boss has every incentive to pay you as little as they possibly can. And if they can't pay you as little as possibly can, they'll go hire your children. And that's where we are right now.
That's terrible. That's really terrible.
On the flip side of it, your landlord has every incentive to charge you as much as they possibly can get away with charging you. While they have an incentive to, skate by on the repairs, whatever your situation is. But they're forces that are working against us. And a lot of times these politicians try to convince us that, no, we're really just trying to do this because it's in your best interest. You cannot tell me that me having my 14-year-old out until midnight so that you could get your last minute drive-through at McDonald's is in our best interest as a society. You can't.